that read.
Okay, I want to welcome everyone to our Tuesday, January 22nd, 2019 meeting of the Whitley County Board of Commissioners. And we'll start our meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, the first on our agenda, we've got our County Attorney, Matt Shipman.
I don't have anything specific to report other than just to let you guys know. I don't know if Mark's here. I did meet with Mark Sturdivant a little bit. We did go over the issues he's still having with the chiller and came up with the game plan, and Mark's kind of working on that still. And then I did also get some information from the clerk about that whole transition and the software issues, and I'm working through that. I'll have to give you a report on that one later. But,
Okay.
other than that, I can't think of anything else unless you guys have questions for me.
Anyone have anything right now? Thank you, Matt.
Yep.
Okay, Becky Salaway, Council on Aging. It's not going to be here, okay. For the voucher, be the fourth quarter voucher for 2018. Okay, we'll go, Brandon Forrester, Highway Department update.
George, you want to do this?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I did forget. I should have probably brought up under my report, my contract.
Okay,
Sorry.
hold on one second here, Brandon.
Sorry, man.
Sorry about that.
I'm just going by the agenda here.
Yeah. Okay, we have a contract for services from our county attorney for 2019. I think everyone's had a chance to take a look at it.
It's just for ease of understanding, it's exactly the same contract we had last year.
Right.
So I just changed from 19 or 18 to 19. So.
With that information, I make a motion that we approve the contract with the attorney.
Second. We got a motion for approval of the contract for services from our county attorney, Matt Shipman. We've got a second. Further discussions? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same. Unanimous. Thank you. Thank you, Matt. Okay, Brandon. Brandon Forrester is our Highway Department Director and County Engineer.
Hello. Got community crossings on my list. I checked with NDOT. We have to commit funds to be able to apply for the matching grants. And so the projects that I'm proposing for this current call include projects that didn't get accepted on the last call, and plus I added one short stretch of Business 30 West. I've prepared estimates that have to be submitted, and I checked with NDOT. They said they prefer to have the commissioners be the ones to commit the funds. So once I have got a better feel for our 2019 road plan, I'll know. I would really like to be able to do these projects in 2019. Not sure the money's going to be there, but we can always carry them over into 2020. But I do need commissioner signature for these 5 projects for commitment of funds. 27,000 and change, 66,000 and change, 41,000, 39,000, 22,000. It's,
Are these funds that would come from your
Yes.
budget?
yes.
So it's not like we have to come up with extra money?
No, I'm not asking for,
Okay.
right.
All right.
If we can make it work within the highway budget.
So you need a signature for each project?
Yes,
Okay.
they told me that they like to
Okay.
keep these projects completely separate. That's why last time you signed 3 different agreements for the projects that were accepted. And so I'm doing what I'm told so
Yeah.
that there's no grounds for rejection unless the rules get changed.
Well,
So I've written these letters committing the funds to be signed by the chairman, if you so.
I know what we have to do, but why, I don't understand why, when the council has control of the funds.
Again, I'm doing what I was told.
That's the part that I don't understand.
Well, we will do our Paiser rating in the spring, which Paiser rating is your pavement asset rating. At that point in time, we'll look and see what we can do, financially. How many miles can we chip seal? How many miles can we do these community crossings overlays on? How many miles, if any, of gravel roads can we convert? And we'll just see where the money ends up. Again, with these projects, we don't have to do that this year. We can do it next year.
Do we need a motion, each one of these individually?
I don't believe so, but there's 5 projects numbered 4426 to 4430.
I move we approve these projects for the
Community crossings.
and
community crossings funding.
I second with the stipulation that the chairman signs them.
Okay, we've got a motion to approve the Community Crossings Matching Grant Fund financial commitment letter. And we've got a second with a stipulation that the chairman signs for the commissioners. Any further discussions? All those in favor raise your right hand, opposed the same.
Okay, also with community crossings, I have a notice to bidders that I would request that you sign, Commissioners, all 3 in order to attest. So we can get the 3 projects that we were awarded advertised.
I make a motion, we approve the notice to bidders.
Got a motion to approve the notice to bidders.
Second.
We've got a second. Any further discussions? All those in favor raise your right hand, opposed the same. Thank you.
Here are thank you, the summary of the results of the annual bids that we
Oh, yeah,
received
okay.
2 weeks ago, 2 weeks and a day. So, I've talked to other counties and other consultants and suppliers, and I've heard from suppliers in the past, and what I am recommending, as far as the first page with the red and green, that is for a fuel. Item 1, lead-free gasoline. Item 2, diesel fuel. We've expressed pretty sternly in the last couple of years, diesel fuel, we want that to come from one source only. And it's evident that the lowest one-source supplier for diesel fuel would be United Oil, and I recommend that we accept, excuse me, their variable price bid for item 2. For item 1 is gasoline. Gasoline is a little more forgiving when it comes to temperatures and other sensitivities, and so I would recommend that we accept all 3 bidders' variable bid price. We did receive some permanent yearly bids. I'm not a futures expert, but I did look at someone else's prediction, and it looks like we'd be better to stick with the variable as opposed to committing to the higher price annual commitment. So that will be my recommendation on the first 2 items. The rest of the items, I've thought, like I say, I've talked to other suppliers, counties, and consultants, and I think it's just in our best interest to accept everything that came in. Conditions and locations can change. If you look at the dollar amounts, some of those are, one could be 12 and one could be 18 for the same product. We're going to be hard up to be spending 18 when we can get it for 12, but if we can't get it for 12, at least we've got something to cover ourselves. All I can say is trust me, I'm going to do the best, get the best deal we can year long, but I think it's overall in our best interest just to accept all bids. I will say on item 8, we did receive a bid that was late, and actually item 8 and item 10. I don't want to get into the practice of accepting late bids. We have a submission deadline. But in this case, at least one of the items that I'm quite interested in, especially this time of year, is ice creams. And the late bidder has supplied us with that product over the last few years, and we can get that type of material from alternate sources, but not as cheap. So I would be open to any consideration on that. Our bid notice does say that commissioners reserve the right to reject any and all bids, made informalities in bidding, and to accept such bids as it deems to be in the interest of the county. I'm not sure what the attorney thinks about that statement, and again, I don't want to set a precedent, but
So
I would like to be able to accept the bid.
Brandon just showed it to me, and I hadn't had a whole lot of time to think about it, but because of the way we accept all these bids, I don't see that it's an issue, really. I think I agree with you. You don't want it to be, nobody respects your deadline anymore, and all of a sudden everybody turns them in and they say, well, you did it last year. But because it's just this one, and ultimately it just, to the extent we don't accept it, it just hurts the county because it's the cheapest provider of that product. And so I can't see that anybody's going to complain about it. So.
Commissioners, what's your thought?
Hearing Brandon's presentation, I agree with him, and I move we accept all the bids, except on the fuel.
Okay, we got a motion to accept all bids. Fuel, though, would be, for the item 1, lead-free gasoline would be Ag Plus, Petroleum Traders, and United Oil. And then the diesel, item 2, the diesel fuel would be United Oil. And those are on variable bid prices. Have a second?
No.
I'll second for discussion.
I lost a bid one time. I bid on an ambulance chassis, and a local fire department who, in the last month, went out of business, but I'm not gonna tell you who it was. You know, and I submitted my bid on time, everything was there, the bid bond, the entire thing, and only because a friend of mine was at the bid opening, so they opened my bid and they said, well, where's the bid from DeHaven Chevrolet? Well, I don't know, let me call him. So they got on the phone and they called DeHaven Chevrolet, talked to the guy, and said, hey, you know, I just didn't get around to it, it's this much money though. And they said, okay, well, we'll accept your bid then. So as a victim of a person who did things right, I can't go along with accepting a late bid. So that's just me.
I think my thought on that, though, is, was anybody else providing any bids on the ice grid at all? Or is that the only bid we?
Their bid was for the material to be delivered. As far as that particular material, Stone Street Quarries, which is the actual supplier, provided a bid at their pit, which was $5.50 a ton, I believe. We couldn't go get it on the northern end of DeKalb County with our own forces for the price difference that Bailey offered to haul it to us.
What was the circumstance about, the bid was received late, was it?
Well, what I was told is that the owner normally hand delivers it, and he was out of town, and all the paperwork was done. It just, somebody dropped the ball. It didn't get here.
Not the same day, or how much?
It was not the same day, no. It would have been the day after.
The, I don't know how are you sitting on ice grit right now? Is this like you need to?
I mean, we will need more. I mean, there are alternative sources, alternative suppliers, but they're more expensive. That's
Potential, maybe alternative that kind of solves it is you could reject all the bids for the grit. I don't know how much work this is, Brandon, just have it rebid.
have it.
Just
well,
the grit.
I mean, we could,
And then
we could just get quotes at that point. I mean,
maybe.
I'm not sure I want to make a special exception for
Yeah.
that.
Look, I agree with what Don said, right? But at the end of the day, I don't want to hamstring Brandon
Yeah,
for.
well, I don't either, and I don't want the
pay
county to-
twice as much for.
Yeah, I don't want the
for
county to
product.
pay more, it's just that it's sort of, that's the way bids work, and,
I agree with you 100%.
I agree.
And I think Brandon probably does too, but
Yeah.
trust me,
It's,
I see both sides.
Yeah. but I think we can still have a 2-to-1 vote and get it, so.
Okay, any further discussions? Okay, all those in favor to use the late bids, raise your hand, right hand. Opposed, the same?
Okay, thanks, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
it's not your fault.
I know, but. There are a few right-of-way permits.
You ready to read these?
Yep. Okay, we've got right-of-ways that we'll read here for, I think we got 4 right-of-way permits.
Yeah, that's the 3-inch gas main, 900 south, Jeez, what?
I got a call on this one. Did you guys get one?
No?
I got a call from a gentleman who was hot. I was in Minnesota. I got the call as a voicemail. I had to call him back. He was hot because we came out and put flags all over his yard. That was the call, so I called him back. It's probably a couple hours later, I called him back. He says, I'm sorry. He says, NIPSCO came along and put flags in my yard. They're gonna put a gas line in. Isn't that great? Good enough.
That one there, I added a note, all hard surface crossings to be bored, because they didn't specifically mention that.
Yeah, I move we approve this one.
Yes.
Permit was
Second.
kind of rushed.
Okay, we've got a motion to approve.
Second.
We got a second. Further discussions? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same.
Second one is Wilkins Road. And that's from CenturyLink. Move we approve it.
Okay, we've got a motion to approve CenturyLink's work on Wilkins Road.
Second.
Got a second? Any further discussions? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same.
Thanks.
The next one is 1-inch poly water line, East Marshes Road.
So is this
This
an
is
individual?
This is
It's
an
individual, Doug Richards well drilling.
Yeah, this is another one of those, I'm sticking with my position, public right-of-ways are not the place for private utilities.
Yeah.
But the landowner did sign the
Hold harmless.
hold harmless waiver.
Yeah, that's what we,
So,
that's what we wanted, was to hold harmless, so.
So they run the wells across the road from the residence.
Yep,
It's a bore job.
yep.
Motion approved.
Got
Second.
a motion to approve. Got a second? Further discussions? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same.
The next one is TriStar Business doing road boring for Tri-Lake Sewer District, East Marshes Road. Move we approve it.
Second.
Got a motion to approve. We got a second. Further discussions? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same.
There's two of them. We can do that too.
So while you're signing those, the only other thing I have to do is something that you already know. We had a challenging event this weekend, and depending on who you are and where you live, you think the guys did a good job, or we should just start over. So
I didn't
I
hear
didn't
it.
heir many complaints.
I didn't hear that complaint.
Not a one, I didn't either.
I thought they did a great job.
They busted your tail Saturday and Sunday, and then they still called school off Monday.
Well, it's not because of cold.
I think we got another one here, guys.
You think we got another one?
I think these two were stuck together.
Oh, excuse me, Brandon.
Oh, yeah, that's all right.
work on 300 South.
Oh,
Install,
that's for the force main, or the lift station for the force main project.
12-inch Class V culvert.
Yeah, it's for the driveway. Probably could have done that when the driveway permit, but they already submitted everything, so we'll call it a right-of-way cut permit.
Motion approved.
Okay, this is on 300 South. Got a motion to approve.
Second.
Got a second. Further discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same.
I
Thank
only see
you.
one copy, Brandon. Unless it's got mixed up with something else.
Is there?
I don't think so.
Well, he's kind of a
Oh,
county,
there's some more.
county city project. Oh, they might have
There's
been.
some more down in there.
Okay.
Sorry about that, Brandon.
It's way down in here.
Yeah, should have one of those, post-it, sign it, sticky things.
There you go, buddy.
Kinda gotta earn this one.
You got their meeting tonight?
Solid waste? No, we had to do it last week. But I do have a haircut at 4, so.
Speed this up.
Pretty shaggy.
Yeah, right.
There you go. Thanks.
Anyone have anything else for Brandon?
No, I had told him earlier that I just kind of wanted to come from the commissioners to make sure his staff knows how appreciative we were of the, they work Monday through Friday, and then invariably snowstorms come Saturday and Sunday, so I feel bad for them. We appreciate all they do, so.
Yep. Thank you.
Drove 2.5 hours yesterday to make sure they didn't have to work yesterday, so they got a day off.
Good,
Good.
good.
Thank you, Brandon. Okay, next on the agenda, we have the auditor's office. Right stuff.
Okay, so, just for a while now, we've had some issues with the right stuff, just with having to do stuff on our end of it that no one else really sees. There's changes, I hate to use the word manipulate, but we have to adjust it a lot. And Tiffany can definitely speak on behalf of that with all the changes that we have to make. And, if you wanna, you have some examples, right? But she has some examples that she can share with you. But we just have a lot of issues. It's not really, I guess, working together necessarily with Lau, and which is what we have to push it into, and it's for the attendance. The main thing is we have to make all these changes and do all these adjustments to every payroll voucher. So I emailed Kosciuszko County. I said, how do you make it work? How do you make it accurate every time? And she sent me an email back saying 95% of our employees, I'm guessing besides like board members and stuff like that, because they're not a regular
Oh, yeah.
employee, clock in and clock out.
Yep.
So, not that I'm just bringing it to you guys, and again, I wanted to, I brought Tiffany just in case you had questions about specifics, but, we're just having to do more fixing than we are being able, for them to be able to do their own job. It's
Yeah.
becoming overwhelming, and it's just to the point that it's taking up too much of their time. So, it's a concern.
Yeah, well, my memory of putting the right stuff in, I know I pushed hard for right stuff. And I tried to push hard for everybody clocking in, clocking out. And I think we sent that out as like an olive branch to, let's at least get right stuff here. Let's get it going. So your request comes as absolutely no surprise to me. It's not a popular thing to do, but it's time we turn the switch, and because it can be easy. It can be pretty darn easy to clock in and clock out. My assumption is it can be. My previous employer, it was very easy, so I don't know what thoughts we have. But I think it's time that we.
I will say I contacted Howard County because they also use Right Stuff. They also have issues, but I never specifically asked them how their employees use Right Stuff, if they all clock in and clock out. But she said they also have issues with Right Stuff being able to input into LAO. But she doesn't know if it's a LAO issue or if it's a Right Stuff issue in correlation to LAO. But the adjustments that are being made, they're pretty significant. They're not like a simple cut and dried, and every time you do something, you don't realize the chain of events that's going to occur on everything else when they fix that one adjustment. But I don't have a good answer, but I do know that Howard County also has issues with the Right Stuff in LAO.
So we could have two problems.
According to Howard County, yes. She says that she doesn't know if it's 100% the Right Stuff. It could be some issues with LAO using what Right Stuff submits to them, but there still are concerns.
And if you guys do want an example really quick, because this is crazy. So, poor Tiffany had to go through, I don't know how, every employee?
Just our problem child, the sheriff's department. And then jailers, people who don't have a set 9 to 5. And we just had to go through and manipulate. The last time was just their bi-weekly, the $1,000 salary didn't carry over as it should. So we had to adjust all of their bi-weeklies. Before that, for some reason, their overtime and straight time didn't come right. So we had to go through and departments, along with community corrections and probation, I think, as well. Every employee, because a lot of them do have additional straight time and overtime.
So that will be taken care of if we do go to punching in and out, clocking in and out? Is that?
That I don't know, because this
Yeah.
is an
And
issue
Michelle
of
knows more on
their
that, so.
numbers were wrong, so I don't,
Right.
that I don't know.
So that's an issue with the Right Stuff. So, period, not necessarily clocking in, clocking out. But again, and another issue that she had too is for our holidays, they didn't, for some reason, we gave the Right Stuff the holidays, and they were supposed to input them and upload them to everyone's timesheets. She had to go in, that was every single employee, right? She had to go into every single employee, click open their timesheet so it would input the holidays. So every single employee we have, because it wouldn't upload. So there's other issues than just, the clocking in, clocking out, but I just wanted to bring it to your attention that there definitely are issues, and
Does Right Stuff have a method by which you can use your cell phone?
because it's a web-based
So you
program.
could be as close as your cell phone to clock in, clock out. Well, I guess Mr. Chairman, I just think it's time we went that way, and it sounds like it may not solve all of our problems, but it sounds like a good start. And I don't think there should be an excuse for, well, my department can't clock in and clock out. I just don't. I don't think there's an excuse for that.
I guess my thought on it is, I'd like to see the auditor's office work with each one of the department heads and maybe set a date after that, once they've figured out, because it's going to be different for each department, if it's going to be an issue or not. So let's focus on the departments that it could be an issue, and is that agreeable to?
Yes, I don't know that, I should have said, I don't know that I'm thinking tomorrow we start, but I'm just,
Yeah.
it's time to move in that direction.
Jenna, what about the other issues, so, have you got any idea how to solve those? Or Angie?
I don't think we really know the ramifications of all the issues that we truly have with right stuff.
Well, how do we find an answer?
Well, I think if everybody has to go into a mandatory clock in, clock out versus the way it's set up where each department does it differently, if we still have the same concerns, then we know it's,
Not that.
that it wasn't that.
So
and
we
it
just
really
gotta
is
wait and
the right
see?
stuff.
Right.
You suggesting just waiting to see? After you implement the clock in, clock out,
Well, I think even with the clock in and clock out, that we could potentially have some
Still have
concerns, just because, since it is web-based, we may have to set up some guidelines that if you are in one of those offices, that you are scheduled to work 8 to 4:30, you don't clock in, you'll be required to clock in from your PC, to ensure that you're not in the parking lot running late, and then, well, I can just clock in on my phone, even though I'm still 5 minutes out. I mean, we still could have those possible concerns, but for a department like the sheriff's department, or even highway, it may be a little different for them, because we shouldn't necessarily require them to physically come into the jail to clock in to start their shifts. So I think we may have to still be a little flexible in regards to how we require that. I don't know if it can be set across the board, but, you know, I guess that's also what we need to look into. Just food for thought.
So I guess my question is that something that we need a vote on, or is it just procedural for the auditor's office?
I don't know about a vote, but other than we're either all in or we're all out for it. But I think coming from the commissioners that we're going to start the process of training so that everybody clocks in and clocks out. That's, I don't want to set deadlines or dates or anything, but
I think the basic premise here is it's not working and we need to do something.
yeah.
And we need to see how big of adjustment it's going to be for right stuff to transition each individual department to. It may be a little lengthy.
I don't think we could
Yes.
have a department that the right stuff hasn't had an issue with previously.
Sheriff?
Yeah, well, just clocking in and out might alleviate some things, but I'm just gonna say for the sheriff's department, we're gonna continue to be that department that has problems because people's shifts get switched so much for staffing. So if it's put in as 4 and 2 on this week and they don't work that becomes a whole issue every time we swap somebody's schedule. So us clocking in on the 4 and 2s at least, 5 and 2, yeah, but 4 and 2, we're still gonna have problems with the auditors on. With the software.
Can you?
Thank you.
Are you required though to actually put a schedule in? So when they make those adjustments?
Nathan, ask Nathan. Nathan does it. Is there still a set schedule in there for everyone? Do you have to put a set schedule in?
Yeah, the set schedule gets sent to them and put in, but when we make modifications, it always seems that's when we have issues.
But the actual hours that are on the time clock override whatever's in the schedule. So it's not like by exception where your schedule actually defines your work hours. Clock in, clock out, it's actually whatever is clocked in and clocked out.
So the clocking in and clocking out overrides the schedule.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe we don't even do the schedule.
Non-exempt employees, and exempt employee may work 50 hours a week, and that's supposed to be paid for more than 57.5. So that's going to either have to be built into the system, or the auditor's going to have to check those exempt employees every payment.
Well, and
that will
again,
be.
well, I'm guessing, again,
might
that's
not
probably that
difficult.
5% of their employees that don't necessarily do it like everyone else. You know, I said there would definitely be exceptions, obviously.
Well, and that
So-
one, that's not unusual for public employees to have exempt, and so actually it kind of works to your benefit to document, this is actually the number of hours I worked, but you know you're only gonna get paid for 37 and a half.
And we'll have at least 3 people that will need access, because they work beyond the office. There'll be some exceptions.
Maybe the
It's just
issue's with the
web-based, so they
software
just need
rather
to-
than the people.
Maybe,
Huh?
maybe.
Well, how do we fix that? You disagree?
Somewhat,
Okay.
somewhat. Right Stuff didn't open their doors a year ago. They've been doing this for a long time, and they've been hit with these before from other places. We're not gonna surprise them with anything. So, again, I told George earlier, when I was with EMS, we said, no, we can't clock in, we can't clock out. No, we can't do that, we can't do that. Well, surprise, we did, and it worked out okay. Now, did the department head have to make an adjustment? If I got there on time, but an ambulance run came in and I didn't have time to clock in, everything was done on the PC there. Well, then they'll have to come back and fix it, which they did. They took care of it. But I just don't buy the concept, we can't clock in and clock out. I'm not gonna buy it.
Okay, well, you were involved a lot more in it when we implemented than I was. That's kind of
Yeah.
before me. and
Yeah,
so
I'm
you-
just saying, none of these things are new to Right Stuff, I'm positive. And if they are, then maybe we do have the wrong company. I won't say that can't be true.
I think we need to go forward and look into the implementation.
Consensus, maybe, is there, agree?
Yeah. Consensus to go forward?
Yeah, go forward.
Okay. Is that from the clerk's office? Okay, you're gonna take that then?
I can,
Okay.
yep, if you'd like me to.
Okay. Okay, next on the agenda, we have a credit card request. Jana?
Okay, so, with credit cards, you said to bring every single one to you if someone had a request. Since we have switched clerks, Cindy Doolittle would like a credit card in her name. So I just need you guys' approval, because you guys approved Debbie's, but you approved it for Debbie, not just the clerk. So if you want to change it now and say just the clerk and then forever changing, it's up to you
And
guys,
does
but I need one.
Debbie still have a credit card that says Debbie?
No, I believe we have it back, and I just
Well,
need
then all we're doing is making a change then. Okay. We're not adding a credit card.
But we're still opening one in someone else's name. That's why I want the approval, so that I can get it, and you guys
Yeah.
tell me it's okay to get a card for that person. So,
Okay. Where do the bills get sent for that credit card?
to our office.
Yeah, okay, that's what's important, is that they go to the auditor's office. Yeah. Okay, I make a motion to approve the credit card request then.
Okay, we've got a motion to approve credit card request for the clerk's office.
Second.
For Cindy Doolittle. We've got a second. Further discussions? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same. Okay, right now we'll suspend our meeting. We'll go to the Board of Finance annual meeting with Laurell Schroeder from the Treasurer's Office.
Am I still present? Okay, we'll As president of the Board of Finance, we'll open the annual meeting.
The top report is the minutes from last year,
Last year, okay.
and then there's some reports underneath it.
Okay, you have in front of you the minutes of the January 16th, 2018 meeting. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
I move we approve them as written.
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign.
So, let me right now.
Oh, yeah, okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Here's my minutes The next report is the investment policy that we need to approve, and it's exactly like last year's, except for the date.
So we just have to have it, the policy has to be approved annually?
It does.
Okay, all right. I'll give you a second to look over the policy, and when you're comfortable, I'll accept the motion to approve the policy.
Has there been any changes at all to the policy from last year?
There hasn't been,
Date-wise?
date-wise.
Okay.
I'll make a motion that we approve the investment policy for 2019.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to improve the investment policy for 2019. All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I move we retain the same officers we had last year.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor to retain the same officers as this year.
I'll second.
We have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign.
Okay, your next report is the 2018 investment earned. And the top half is what the county earned in interest for 2018. And the bottom half of the report is the interest that we paid out to 6 specific funds.
I'm glad we're doing that. I'm glad we're doing that.
The next report, I just gave you a copy of our certificate of deposits for the last 3 years. And at the bottom, on the totals, the first total is the interest for 2016, which was 19,000 plus. 2017, 59,482. 2018, we deposited $98,654.25 in deposit.
Great.
So it helps when the interest is up a little.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. For the public, so you know what a great job our treasurer's doing. In 2018, our funds that we had invested earned the county $222,425.86. Great job. Great job. Okay.
Thank you. And the last thing I just made you a copy of was from Trust Indiana, what their rates are doing, and they've come a long way, but they're still not what I can get locally on CDs.
Really?
So the rate last week was 2.36. And there in November, I got a 6-month CD at 2.8. So I'm still
Really?
getting more interest locally than I am with interest. I just want you to know, hey,
Well, I'm glad to see that.
That's not always the case, is it?
Trust Indiana has come a long way, though, in the last 4 years
Yeah.
with their interests. And they're getting very competitive. And if you wanted the funds available on a daily basis, that would be the way to go. But we usually are able to put our money 6 to 12 months out. I ladder them.
And they stay safe, because you don't need that money.
Right.
Yeah,
Right, and even if I did, there'd just be a penalty.
yeah.
A small penalty.
Okay.
So,
Any questions on her investment report?
No, good job.
Thank you.
yeah.
Is that concludes the 2019 Board of Finance Annual Meeting? We'll,
I'll make a motion that
we have a motion to adjourn.
Adjourn.
Thank you.
Second.
We're adjourned. Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good one.
Good report.
Okay, we'll reopen our Whitley County Board of Commissioners meeting. We'll start with our claims. Has everyone had a chance to take a look at the claims? Don?
I'm sorry I was
that's
unable
right.
to do them. I appreciate George stepping in for me and taking care of that. So I would revert
Yeah,
to
do
you.
you have- do
You
you
would
have
have
the-
better knowledge.
Payroll claims? Okay, when I looked at the claims Friday, everything looked real good. I didn't see anything that we could, any
Question.
discoveries on there. So,
I would make a motion, we approve the payroll claims.
got a motion to approve the payroll claims?
Second.
Got a second? Further discussions? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same.
I'd make a motion, we approve accounts payable claims.
Second.
Got a motion to approve accounts payable claims. Got a second? Further discussions? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same. This goes with that.
There.
It's just
There's the second one.
Okay.
Okay, you have before you the minutes for January 7th, special session. Have you had a chance to take a look at that?
I make a motion, we approve the January 7th bid opening minutes.
Second that.
Got a motion to approve bid opening minutes on January 7th. We got a second. Further discussions? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same.
Will we approve a regular minute, or the minutes of the regular meeting on January 7th as written?
Okay. Got a motion and a second to approve the January 7th regular meeting minutes for 2019. Any further discussions? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same.
Mr. Chairman, I noticed in the minutes, excuse me, let me sign this real quick. I noticed in the minutes that it was noted that Scott introduced new health educator Carly LaRue to the commissioners. Carly was involved in a pretty bad auto accident, and I think we want to publicly wish her well and hope for speedy recovery for her.
Thank you.
I don't think she had enough to retire yet, so. Yeah, I think I have to go clear like on the top of,
I didn't print it quite right.
yeah, it's all
Did I
right.
realize that?
Yeah, it's all right. I'll make a big arrow.
Okay, in our last meeting, we had tabled the extension contract between Purdue and government of Whitley County, Indiana. I think everyone's had a chance to take a look at that. Any discussions, any further discussions on?
No, now I assume you've seen this, right, man? Yeah, okay. And it's probably boilerplate. Just, it is what it is, yeah. So, I read it, but didn't get much out of it. I will make a motion that we approve the contract, so. The
Second.
money has been appropriated, as I understand.
Right.
The money has been appropriated, so nothing new here.
Yeah, I'll second it.
Okay, we've got a motion to approve the Purdue extension contract. We've got a second, and the contract is for January 1st, 2019 through December 31st, 2019 for the amount of $107,345. And that provides the county extension services educators.
And I had forgot to mention that part of my motion that it would be to allow the chairman to sign it, because there's only one signature, so I would like to add that to my motion that the chairman be allowed to sign it.
Okay, we'll amend the motion to be able to sign by the chairman. Any other further discussions? All those in favor, raise your right hand, opposed, the same. Okay. Angie.
Francine's Friends Mobile Mammography will be on site March 13th of this year, beginning at 8:30 to 3. They'll be parking in our back facility, or our north parking lot. So I just need to know if you guys approve them parking in our parking lot.
Yeah, move and approve it.
Second.
Got a motion to approve, we've got a second. Any further discussions? All those in favor, raise your right hand, opposed, the same.
Schroeder submitted the request for the use of the courthouse square during Old Settlers Days, which will be beginning Sunday, June 23rd, and until Sunday, June 30th. So beginning at 11 p.m. on the 23rd till 6 a.m. on the 30th.
Motion approved.
Do I have a motion to approve for Old Settlers Days?
Second.
Got a second? Any further discussions? All those in favor, raise your right hand, opposed the same.
Angie, do you have that form in the computer? Mm-hmm. You might want to make those signatory changes.
Oh, well, these were actually submitted before.
I know.
Oh, no, they weren't.
I know, I'm just saying though, you might want to make note of
Change it.
that.
Yep. You had previously tabled the Relay for Life request to use the courthouse square on, due to they needed to check with the city about the use of electricity, light poles, things like that. We also requested that she complete a request form, which she has done. Her name is Shelby Brown. I will say that I spoke with the city. They did give her the temporary electric service. She did not request the closure of the street, so she does not have that yet, but I guess they're going to be in communication with her. Mark Schroeder reviewed it. His only concern was in regards to the bounce house. He wants to request that they locate it on the southwest section of the courthouse where they know that there aren't any underground wires. But other than that, they're requesting it June 22nd from noon to 10 p.m.
Make a motion, we approve the request for Relay for Life.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion, we got a second to approve the request from the Right to Life for June 22nd.
Relay for Life, though.
Oh, Relay.
Just saying.
Relay for Life. Further discussions? All those in favor, raise your right hand, opposed the same. Thank you.
And that's all I have.
That was it? Mm-hmm. Matt, anything further? Jana?
The only thing that I was gonna bring up was the extension contract, and you already covered that.
Good.
So,
Commissioner? This can be a quick one.
I'm gonna be,
Scott.
I'm gonna be out of town.
Scott?
Something that you brought up to me, I was gonna ask the board to take recommendation to the health board.
Yes.
Regarding complaint, signatures and information.
Yeah, Scott and I were talking, it's been an issue with some places that, right now, Scott's, the department's set up so that they respond to written request for anything as far as issues for the health department. What my suggestion was that, that they didn't have to have the written request, that if they do see something, that they could go out, or if somebody had requested verbally, that they could go out and take a look at the issues. Because a lot of times, I know personally, there's been issues where there's been a health department or health issue within the community, and it's a person that people don't want to make mad, I guess, is what it is.
A vengeance, yes.
Yeah, and so nobody wants to say anything about it. Nobody will come in and sign, because to sign, they've got
Well,
somebody.
yeah, oh, yeah, I get that part.
Yeah.
Then they retaliate
Yeah,
on them, and I know it's kind of a tough.
And there
Are we
is-
talking junk and trash here?
We're talking about any kind of complaint. Under state law, food complaints don't have to have a signature or an information. It was just passed in July, but other complaints, it's up to the health department. I did run this by Liz Deckard, who's our attorney. She said she would still like to be able to gather the information of who the complainant was. so that if it did go to court, she can call for a witness or whatever, things like that. I didn't know if we are able to collect the information and not be a public record. Like somebody wants to file a complaint, say, hey, my neighbor's dumping sewage in the creek, but I don't want them to know it's me, but can we still collect her information and keep it somehow? It's not public record then?
I'd have to look. I mean,
Okay.
Probably not,
Yeah,
but,
my first thought.
I know that, just speaking for complaints, it is the most time I spent on any single object. I do more complaint inspections and
Oh, I
time
bet. Oh, yeah, I bet.
than anything else. So I had brought up to Don this, sorry to diverge here, but we had talked about maybe at some point in the future having a compliance officer that would the city would pay and the county would pay, that would take care of all complaints. They call this number, this person deals with all complaints, they write citations, they report them to the governing agencies, go to court, things like that. Because I know building department, health department, and the city police, they get a lot of complaint calls that take up a lot of valuable time, but people necessarily wouldn't have to deal with that. But in the meantime, it's up to you guys. I mean, I told George that we need a recommendation from the board for the health board to make that change, or for them to, because I just can't do that just on my own, but.
I guess I'm not asking for a vote right now, but I think I'd ask that you take
Okay.
that into consideration,
Okay.
and we can talk to Matt about liabilities on the
I
issue
can
too.
see both. I mean, you could also, if you could do it anonymously, people could also use that as a weapon just because they don't like their neighbor. Health department out.
It has cut down on a lot of the neighborhood disputes to
You
some
know,
extent, but.
You could, if you can do it anonymously, like, here's a great example. In divorce cases, DCS gets involved a lot of times because mom and dad had a fight, not because anything's going on with the child. Because you can do them anonymously, and nobody, usually sometimes you find out, but I could see it similarly being the same way, where dispute amongst whoever, and, if you're not willing to put your name on it, then how serious are you about it? And I understand what you're saying, though. You're probably also getting people that are afraid of repercussions, so they're not reporting it, and so.
My
It's a
concern
tough
too would be,
question.
this doesn't necessarily have a complaint, but sometimes as a professional, I see things in the community that are illegal under current code. But because they don't have a complaint, we've never pursued those things. Can that, under
Well,
law, can we?
That's a different question.
Okay.
I think if you have the ability to,
Okay,
then that's more of a policy thing, right? If you want, I'm sure there's probably 100 examples you could
Yes.
list of where we are currently not enforcing something because the neighbors don't care, or because the whole neighborhood has got junk cars everywhere. And, that's a policing thing that Scott needs direction from you, but that's different,
Okay.
I think,
Yep.
than the anonymity in reporting
Sure.
complaints and whether those can be through disclosure. So maybe we need to have a bigger conversation about it. And you guys need to think about that, what you want Scott doing. You probably don't want to create more work for yourself when you're already needing
right,
a
I
compliance
think there's a
officer,
lot
but-
of things that don't, the whole issue is the regional sewer district. There's a lot of places throughout the county where people are dumping their sewage in the creek. Some we know about, some we don't. Enforcement of that, a policy issue, hasn't been because there's not been a solution to that. How do you take people in 50 homes and tell them all they have to leave? Whereas we're trying to provide a resource for them to be able to connect.
Right.
Whereas there might be just a couple of people down the road, somebody might want to turn them in, but they don't want to get their, name on it, even though that's an illegal activity. That's, again, it's a catch-22
Bigger
sometimes.
conversation potentially that, especially as it relates potentially to some of the septic issues, because, as you guys know, there are areas where we've had to proactively go and do things like Coesi upon discovery, but we didn't dig any further than the immediate issue, knowing we didn't have a solution. The lots aren't big enough. You can't put a new system in. So the only solution was the sewer district. Well, there are other communities where we haven't made that initial discovery, but we know there's a problem. So should Scott be out there investigating that? Now that we potentially have a solution specifically on septics especially, how proactive should the county be? I think those are conversations that really need to probably happen because what's happening on the sewer district side is that we're getting questions about whether or not the due diligence has been done to the extent to justify potential projects. And so we have to pick a path. Right now, we're kind of not on one path or the other, and I think, so Scott probably needs direction from the county to know what path to head down, and then he can head. But potentially a conversation that we need to go through, but something that certainly needs to be in everybody's mind and thinking about.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Scott. Anyone else? Okay, call for the question.
Motion adjourned.
Got a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Second? All those in favor, raise your right hand.
Did you have to think about that? Did you have to think about that?
Yeah, kind of.